Welcome back to Give Me a Break Pointcast. Today we will be talking about the Miami Open results. The Sunshine Double has been completed, so we'll be talking about that. And our topic for today is Give Me a Break from Alcaraz expectations. Guys, did you miss Alcaraz in Miami?
Honestly, no.
Yeah, I don't think I did. I think in the previous Indian Wells episode, I did reference that I want to see some new blood in the finals, and that's exactly what we got this week. We've got Yuri Lehechka in the final. Yeah, as I said, breath of fresh air and new blood. It's what we want to see.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you guys don't have massive expectations from Alcaraz anyway. But the reason why this became news that Alcaraz lost in the third round, so he only played 2 matches in Miami, and everybody was like, what's going on with Alcaraz? And so somebody who wants a break from Alcaraz expectations is our very own Rafa Nadal.
Hey.
He was asked what seemed like a bunch of journalists had just surrounded him with microphones. And there's an image of like a microphones right by his face, but you would think the question is, Rafa, how are we going to get world peace? But the question was, what do you think about Alcaraz losing in Miami and Indian Wells, where he lost in the quarterfinals? And basically his response was, are we really going to worry about 2 defeats? I don't think so. That doesn't make any sense. We shouldn't demand more from him.
Was there any frustration in his voice? Sometimes when he does those interviews where he's just lost second round of Wimbledon and he's just frustrated or just completely disillusioned with the reporters and that.
He could be annoyed by journalists asking the same questions again and again, but also really believe that 2 losses meant nothing to Alcaraz's career or his form.
Yeah, I mean, Rafa is just defending and protecting Carlos and the massive expectations that probably he hears more so in Spain as well, that there are about Alcaraz. Alcaraz has achieved a lot at his age, and Rafa just wants to remind everyone, let's not forget, he won the career Grand Slam this year, which means he's won every single Grand Slam.
And if anything, Alcaraz is surpassing a lot of Nadal's record. So in today's house stat, the first stat that we're going to bring up is that Alcaraz actually broke Nadal's record at this year's Australian Open and became the youngest player to achieve the career Grand Slam. So previously, Nadal held this record when he completed a career Grand Slam at the 2010 US Open. He was 24 years old, but this year, Carlos Alcaraz, he was only 22 years old when he won Australian Open. So he actually broke Rafa's very own record. If anything, he is better than Rafa at this metric. Obviously not every metric, but at this metric, he's actually even better.
He's got a long way to go before he can be crowned better than Nadal, I think, and I mean a long way to go.
But I think in some reasonable way we can say that Alcaraz is a much more complete player than Rafa was at this age. So from that perspective, he is a better player. We already talked about not comparing the Big 3 and the new generation in our first episode.
Yeah,
but I think it's fair to say, some would say Alcaraz is the best player to have ever played tennis because of how complete he is and how much natural talent he has. Just off the bat, just showing up and being such a complete player. His career has only just started. He's got 7 Grand Slams. There's a long way to go before we can make those kind of statements. But he's already proving that he is one of the greats to have ever played.
Is that indicative of the standard on the tour at the moment, though, that he's got all these accolades?
Well, we could have a look at Sinner's record, because at this year's Miami Open, Sinner also broke loads of records. which includes him becoming the first ever man to complete what we call the Sunshine Double, that is Indian Wells and Miami, without dropping a single set.
Yeah, he dominated, didn't he?
So Sunshine Double has been achieved by people like Federer, Djokovic, and American players like Sampras, Chang in the 90s, but none of them has ever done it without dropping a set. And Sinner is the first player to do that.
Pretty impressive, to be fair.
And also, on the WTA side, Sabalenka also completed a Sunshine Double this year. Guess how many times in history a pair of male and female player has completed Sunshine Double in the same year?
I'd probably say
What's
Yeah,
your
I
guess?
saw is it 4?
I think it's 3.
4 is right.
I reckon it's Djokovic and Azarenka. That's the one I remember, because that was
Yeah.
that was 10, 11 years, maybe 2015.
Oh, has it been that long?
I think so. I think that's the last time Azarenka was really at the top of her game.
Yeah, so in 2016, Rob was right. Both Djokovic and Azarenka completed the Sunshine Double in the same year. Then 11 years ago, Federer and Kim Clijsters had done the same feat in the same year. And then another 11 years ago, Pete Sampras and Steffi Graf, the all-time greats, also completed the Sunshine Double in the same year. So Mon is right. It has happened 4 times in total.
Yeah, that's cool. I think because Sinner won Miami and all of these stats are coming through about Sinner's consecutive sets wins and Sunshine Double, etc. I think that's why when we're not missing Alcaraz. We're only like okay about Alcaraz exiting early is because we had Sinner.
Yeah. There's another stat that I saw, though, was about Alcaraz when he won the Miami Open in 2022. He became the youngest champion to win the Miami Open.
Yeah, and it's not like Alcaraz has not figured out Miami. Like, he is already a Miami champion, not this year, but 4 years ago. So, like, it's not like he's never found success in Miami.
Exactly. What I would like to start seeing, the guys who then managed to beat Alcaraz or Sinner along the way, it's more so Alcaraz. Sinner has been so dominant that he doesn't actually just lose randomly. If he's ever losing, it's always to a top 5 player. When one of these guys do beat Alcaraz, there's a stat out there that these guys aren't then backing up that win with the next match. Like they will then subsequently lose the next match after beating Alcaraz. It's like they're so elated from beating Alcaraz. Then
But understandably so, like, beating the number 1, isn't that something that you would talk about, like, forever?
true.
If you were a professional player?
It's true, but then simultaneously you're entered into a tournament and it's not the final yet. So you still have the rest of the matches to go. So if you've already think that the biggest achievement you're going to have is winning against Alcaraz rather than actually winning the title, then there's no progress.
But then it's more of a mentality thing, isn't it? So you
Yeah.
as a professional player, you should be locked in for every round, 7 rounds.
And coming back to our topic for today, which is give me a break from Alcaraz expectations, quoted directly from Rafa. What do we think?
I think he's shown himself to be the world's best. So there is naturally going to be expectation from the tennis world. Now, for me personally, I think that he's a very talented player, but we shouldn't really be always thinking that he has to be at the top of his game 100% of the time. I think give me a break from these expectations.
I think he had an amazing season last year, and he has actually been having a great season this year as well. Yes, he didn't win Indian Wells. He crashed out of Miami in the early round, but it's still too early to say that he is declining or anything like that. It's not like that. Not after he crashed off Miami of all tournaments. So I would agree that we need a break from all these kind of unhealthy expectation at this point. I might change my view if he crashes out every tournament this year, but not crashes out of Indian Wells and Miami. No.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you guys said, how is he not meeting expectations when he's the double reigning Grand Slam champion? The last 2 Grand Slams were won by Alcaraz, and he's also enjoying his life. You know, I think that Sinner and Alcaraz, outside of the fact that they're so talented, what they're proving is that their work ethic is exceptional. Like, they're not cutting corners. They're showing up for training. They're putting in the hours. And that's where the consistency is coming from. And so Alcaraz randomly losing to players here and there is probably happening more often than it's happening for Sinner. But I also think that Alcaraz is enjoying his life. As we know, it was in the news this week that he's been sponsored by a super yacht company. And also, I think they built Rafa's yacht for him as well. Alcaraz is only 22, 23. Just like his results have been accelerated because of his amazing career, all of these opportunities and these sponsorships and all these things that are coming his way are also accelerated in terms of timeline. So while some would say in today's climate, like, being sponsored by a yacht company is probably a little tone deaf,
bit pretentious.
I think it's awesome. I think it's great. He's absolutely deserved every bit of success he gets. And the fact that now he's got a yacht company that sponsors him is great because he deserves it.
I don't disagree that he deserves his yacht and all the accolades, like he's earned them all. But I'm not going to defend this interview because I do think he's a bit out of touch. And the interview that he gave, like, what
did he
last
say?
week there was an interview that came out, and he was encouraging young people to to enjoy the sea in his way. Like,
Yeah, he's trying to inspire young people.
his story
by
is
owning yachts?
His story is inspirational, but how many people would be able to go out and buy a yacht because, oh, I've just seen Alcaraz's story. I think I should buy a yacht. Let's go buy a yacht. Who can do that? Like, I'm sorry, but this is just too out of touch.
Guys, context. Rafa and Alcaraz are from Spain. You know, it's a Mediterranean lifestyle thing. They spend times on their yacht. That's what they do on holidays as a family. They'll go to the water and they'll spend time on yachts, on boats. Like, people have holiday homes. Other people might have holiday homes. They might book a nice hotel or a nice Airbnb somewhere in the countryside. The Mediterranean lifestyle, they go spend their holidays on a boat. And so from that perspective, he's really just talking about the Spanish lifestyle. That's all it is.
How many normal people in the Mediterranean would be able to afford a yacht and like a holiday, like whenever they want?
Well, now they have something to look up to.
I don't think he's making himself very relatable to the everyday tennis fan. Yeah, lifestyle of Spain, Mediterranean lifestyle. Yeah, absolutely. He's gonna win over a lot of fans there.
Great. So to conclude, we're happy to have a break from Alcaraz's expectations because he's meeting them anyway.
And possibly to have a break from some of the out-of-touch views from celebrities or famous tennis players.
Yeah, we can collectively agree we want a break from out-of-touch views. Although my caveat is I don't think that Alcaraz's comments were that out of touch. Like, he's young, he's living his best life. Everything he's got, he deserves. And so I give him a pass. A check this out recommendation. I don't know if you guys have seen it or if anyone in the audience who's watching this has seen it, but Nico Rosberg used to have a YouTube channel after he won his world championship and retired from Formula One. He started a YouTube channel. He interviewed Rafa on Rafa's yacht, and Rafa kind of just gives him a tour of his yacht. It's a funny watch.
I've seen this. Well, I don't think I've seen it fully, but yeah.
It's a funny watch because Rafa is basically just as if he was describing his house. Even though he is walking Rosberg through his yacht, he's still very humble about it. And then by the end of the video, you can tell that he's kind of like, I've had enough of hanging out with Rosberg. This is like, it's a
Rosberg
funny watch.
Is a bit full on, to be fair.
Like, the vibe was completely different. Rosberg was all like playing up the fact that, oh, you've got a super yacht. This is, really luxurious, all that. Whereas Rafa was still presenting really humble. And so by the end of the video, there's a real clash in kind of perspectives.
The dynamics are completely different, like both in sport and out of sport when you see him in interviews. So yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Another check this out from the Miami Open was that Arthur Fields, in one of his Tennis Channel interviews, made an analogy of basketball and tennis, and he said that Alcaraz is like Michael Jordan and Sinner is like Kobe Bryant.
Really? I completely missed that.
Did you see this?
No.
And I was like, that's not quite right, because Federer is Michael Jordan. Alcaraz is probably Kobe. Djokovic is LeBron. And Sinner is probably like Steph Curry. So what book have you got there, Rob?
Oh, this one?
You've got, I can see Andy Murray, and then you've got...
Yeah, so this one's actually James Blake. I had him here because he was the tournament director at the Miami Open. Yeah, not very popular man for tournament director duties, but as a player, yeah, one of my favorites when I was growing up. So yeah, here he is. Got it signed as well at Wimbledon. So
for a second, I thought it was a Kyrgios book. I was like, what?
Kyrgios? It does not look. It looks nothing like Kyrgios.
No. Now I can see it's James Blake. How is that book? I haven't read it.
Oh yeah, it talks. He goes into stuff like he broke his back, and it tells you about the dark times that he had when he's going through recovery. Like he broke his back just playing in. I think it was somewhere in New York. Just randomly, just like slid, and yeah. I mean, it's been a fair few years.
Sounds like a riveting read, Rob. You've sold it.
Yeah. So
on that note, as most people know, probably one of the best tennis biographies that exists is Andre Agassi's Open. So I recommend that as a read to anyone who hasn't read it yet. It's a brilliant book. He talks about growing up in Nevada and his dad being a strict tennis dad, and he saw his potential and really wanted Agassi to work hard to hone his skill. And Agassi talks about how he just hated tennis for most of his life because it felt like it was something he had to do because he was good at it rather than something that he enjoyed. So I recommend it. It's a really good read.
I'll have to add it to my collection. So another check this out moment comes from the Laureus World Sports Awards. Basically, a bunch of sporting athletes are nominated for various awards, and there's an example. Laureus World Sportsman of the Year, Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner are both nominated in this category. So yeah, I mean, that's big news for them.
It has to be Alcaraz. Come on.
I mean, with the career slam, absolutely. I mean,
and last year's epic comeback at Roland Garros, and the dominant US Open win, and obviously like the youngest ever to complete career Grand Slam.
Absolutely.
And Sinner was banned for 3 months last year. Like, considering everything, like it has to be Alcaraz.
Um,
Or
Yeah.
another athlete who was nominated, but not Sinner.
Isn't it amazing that Sinner is even nominated when WADA had banned him for 3 months? So
Pre-
these organizations don't even respect each other in a way to be like, well, maybe this year Jannik Sinner is really good, but maybe this year we don't nominate him because he did serve a ban, whether or not he
Well,
actually did anything
these
wrong.
awards respect their marketing power and the money behind more than the sportsmanship.
So there's a tennis player nominated in the comeback of the year, and that's Amanda Anisimova. She took some time off for some mental health break. She came back last year. She actually made the final of Wimbledon. Not the best result by any stretch of the imagination. The double bagel, so 6-love, 6-love in the final. And yeah, that was to Swiatek. And then she also made the US Open final. Faring slightly better, but still losing. And that was to Sabalenka.
I think Amanda
Anisimova.
Anisimova's biggest achievement is not making the Wimbledon final, but it's actually coming back from that Wimbledon final loss and then making a strong run at the US Open where she made the final.
Absolutely.
To come back from a 6-love loss
In the final.
and in the same year managed to make another Grand Slam final, that's brilliant work. And for the US Open final alone, she deserves the comeback award.
But yeah, and then another one was Sportswoman of the Year, and there was only one tennis nomination. It's Aryna Sabalenka. So she's had a fantastic year. So yeah, I don't see any qualms with having her as a nominee. So that's basically the Laureus Sports Awards, and yeah, that's pretty much the check this out moments.
Well, the most controversial thing about the Laureus Sports Awards is that the breakthrough of the year category,
Oh,
we have Joao Fonseca, Brazilian player, 18 years old, huge prospect, very, very popular. He's nominated in there. He's won a tournament, which is a 500 tournament. That's his biggest achievement in tennis so far. And he's nominated as Breakthrough of the Year. And a fellow nominee is Lando Norris.
who's
Formula
been in F1
One.
for 7 years.
He's been in F1 for 7 years, and he is the world champion from last year. So on one hand, we've
I mean,
got...
it's the same thing, isn't it? Is Fonseca's marketing power and the income behind marketing him as the breakthrough of the year.
I'm just like, what's the criteria for these awards? On one hand, we've got a Formula One driver who's been in Formula One for 7 years, and we're treating the year that he wins the world championship as his breakthrough year. And on the other hand, we've got Joao Fonseca, who's only been on the tour for a year, and okay, he wins a 500 tournament, and we're saying that that's a breakthrough.
Yeah, when you're comparing it to Lando's world championship.
How is Lando not nominated in Sportsman of the Year, and then in Breakthrough have somebody like Oscar Piastri? Even though Oscar Piastri year before had his breakthrough, but last year he proved himself to be a title contender. And so maybe that could be considered a breakthrough year. But how is winning the championship a breakthrough year? And then on the other hand, we have Fonseca.
Yeah. I mean also I've just seen as well Luke Littler, the darts player. He's also in Breakthrough of the Year, when I think he could also have been in Sportsman of the Year. So
Any football nominations?
yeah, I think maybe they're trying to spread out who they can give awards to.
I think it's what Lawrence said. It's the power of marketing and probably PR budgets. I think Fonseca just has an amazing PR team. That's probably what it is.
Yeah. That's and that is probably. Oh, I don't.
The fanfare around him is serious business, though. Like tournaments that he does play in, the South American fans show up. You know, so in Miami, even according to Fonseca himself, when he was talking about his Miami Open match against Alcaraz, I think it was it the second round match?
Yes.
The second round match, Fonseca played Alcaraz. The stadium, as you can imagine, in Miami was packed. And Fonseca was like, Alcaraz is really popular here. Like the crowd was like 60-40. So 60 to Fonseca and 40 to Alcaraz. And Fonseca was crediting Alcaraz that he managed to get 40% of the crowd towards him, even though I was playing and it was 60-40.
I mean, there's quite a big South American contingent in Miami, isn't there?
Yeah.
From what general Miami area.
Yeah.
Brazilian legend Ronaldo, R9. He was also in attendance at the Miami Open, supporting his fellow countrymen there. So yeah, big names showing up for Fonseca.
So moving on to our last segment, which is, was this trophy worth it? We did this segment for the Indian Wells Trophy. And now that we've had another final, we're going to review the Miami Open Trophy. So what do you think, guys?
In terms of the design, I am not particularly impressed, I have to say. Like, it just looks like a tournament trophy. It's not memorable. It's not special.
I like it. I like it more than Indian Wells. I tell you that much.
But there's a low bar.
It is a low bar, but I will say that this one, you can see the design clearly. There's no hidden sort of bird's eye view of the design like Indian Wells. I like the fact that you could literally just pour yourself a drink in it, and and then just celebrate, with champagne or some beer. But
it's not a memorable design. Like, if you were to show me a picture of another trophy tomorrow and ask me if this is the Miami trophy, like, I wouldn't be able to tell.
I like it. I mean, like I said, I like it. I'm going to place it higher than Indian Wells. How about you, Money?
So guys, I must be a Miami Open champion because I have a vase that looks exactly like that in my house. I think that this trophy is absolutely boring. It looks like a vase that you would put flowers in. Every house has a vertical, tall glass vase like this one. Like Lawrence said, it's absolutely not memorable whatsoever. The fact that the runner-up gets a smaller version of a vase, so you can't even put your flowers in it because it's smaller than an average vase size. This trophy, our criteria for this segment is if there was no other considerations and it was just the trophy that you were winning at the end of the tournament, if this is what you would take home after working so hard, making the final and winning the final, absolutely not worth it. Absolutely not worth it.
I think it's elegant. I like it. I'm on a it's worth it, but that's just me.
I have to agree with Money. It's too ordinary for a trophy. Like,
it's too ordinary.
But it's elegant.
It's just like any other trophies. Like,
so are you placing Indian Wells higher than Miami?
Yeah. Of the Sunshine Double, definitely the Indian Wells one is a superior trophy. If I never won at Miami Open, I wouldn't mind because I already have this trophy. All right, guys. So that is our review of the Miami Open Trophy, and that's our episode. We'll be back once the clay season begins. So to wrap up, I'm Money.
I'm Lauren.
And I'm Rob.
And we'll see you next time. Stay tuned.
Thanks all.